Hi, friends and Prairie Vintage. My name's Linda. I'm an energy intuitive reader here on YouTube. I use spirit and my intuition and the tarot to communicate energies to you guys, fabulous viewers. If you guys are new to this channel, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. For those of you guys returning, I'm so blessed and I'm so grateful to do your reading again today. You guys are all very, very safe and welcome in this space with me today. Today's reading is going to be a very specific message you're meaning to hear today in regards to your level up. Okay, so whatever your level up looks like, your next phase of ascension, maybe it's your next overcoming of a challenge, whatever next degree it means in your spiritual journey, we'll pull through this reading. Okay, so it's not going to be everyone's message, and that's fine. So if you don't find a pile that resonates with your energy frequency, then you can go check out other readings from my playlist. Okay, so we're going to thank spirits. Let's thank your spirit team for guiding this reading and for allowing this message to get to you. And these are the decks I'll be using for today's reading. I'll put a link right here to the deck reveal so you guys can energetically charge these decks as I open them. And this will align our energy a little bit better for your future readings so that these readings do resonate with your energy. All right, and I'll put timestamps below to the card selection, as this will be a pick a card and we will channel your messages based on whichever pile you're intuitively called towards. Okay, so beautiful angels, I will see you guys at the card selection. All right, gorgeous angels. I have this silk cloth because this is the transparent oracle that we'll be using to pull our messages from. Okay, so this deck is quite the deck. I don't know that I fully connect to it just yet, but we will pull 3 cards for the 3 picks. There's the first one for today's reading regarding the messaging that Spirit is wanting to deliver to you in regards to your next level up or the next leg of your journey here. Okay, what you need to know today, very specific message. Okay, so we have option 2, and then what's option 3 for the collective regarding this message coming through for the next level up? All right, look at that, you guys. And I've shuffled these 58, 59, and 38. So that's fascinating that we have 2 coming out in sequence. So let me just put that aside. Beautiful angels. I'll hold these up shortly, okay? If you are called at any point to any one of these 3, I'll put the timestamp below. I'll take you directly to your reading. So for option 1, we have this card right here, which looks like 3 owls, number 38. All right, option number 2, we have 58, and what looks like a spear. And option number 3, we have what looks like, well, it's giving me medicine wheel type energy with a dragon's eye, but I don't know what this is, okay? I'm going to read them intuitively. This is number 59. All right, so gorgeous angels, let me leave the video running for a bit, and it's absolutely fine to be pulled to all 3 or 2 or none. Okay, listen to your intuition, and if you get stuck, close your eyes, open your eyes, whichever one you're pulled to will most likely have the message for you. Okay, and don't force messages to fit. Ask the divine for what you'll see, feel, or hear throughout the reading to determine whether that pile is going to be right for you, and then allow your intuition to guide the rest. All right, and I will see you guys at your pick. Pile number 1, you guys pick card 38 with the owls. Absolutely beautiful. So I'll leave this like this, and I have pre-shuffled oracle cards, and what we asked the divine was for a specific message in regards to your level up or your next leg of this journey and what you need to know right here, right now, specific to you. Okay, and these are the cards that were pulled. So I haven't looked at these, and we're going to ask Spirit to help you determine whether this is indeed your pile. Okay, I'm going to lay them out before I start the channel. If you want to go straight away to your channeled message, you can do so. The timestamp is below, but I will be connecting to each of these cards, and you can use this opportunity to develop your intuition. Okay, so we have 13, Flower of Life with Cocoon Stage. Now this owl card, okay, this deck I got a while ago. I don't use it very often because there's so many sort of, I don't connect to it like I mentioned. There's so many different sort of variations, but I will be reading this intuitively, okay? But I do know that depending on what cards show up in this deck, determine what this owl sort of symbolizes. Like owls are wisdom, okay? They also symbolize like death, like a crow would, the release process. And so it could also symbolize like becoming a guide or a teacher. And it really depends on where you're at in your journey, whether we're becoming more in solitude, isolated, tapping into knowledge, or if we're coming out of some period of solitude, like teaching the wisdom that we've gained. So there's a lot that does pull through the owl. So we'll see what the cards, sort of what it pulls. But this talks about the cocoon stage. And so the connection here is, like the process in which we go through where the transformation is happening, but we're still confined, And so the caterpillar, when it's in cocoon stage, it literally feels as though it's dying. It feels like it's being suffocated. And that process is just an illusion, because what happens is then the butterfly emerges, very sort of cliche, but it's exactly what happens throughout the process of, like an ego death or a spiritual awakening, or when we align with consciousness here. And so we have 13, which is the number of the death card in the tarot. And that is also of a release and a transformation. Okay. And so I'm seeing the 3 owls here. And so we'll see how this plays into your reading. And also the number 38, which is number 11. 11, very spiritual number, divine inspiration, synchronicity, the encouragement to keep going. And so I do know when we're in isolation stage or feeling confined, we might need an encouragement to keep going, to pull us through. Okay, we might be seeing a lot of synchronicity. So this could certainly still be early on in the awakening stage. I don't know. But let's see what we see here. Okay, a wormhole. Interesting. So this is kind of pulling us in that void space. Yeah, I think some of you guys are still in the void space here. Interesting. I'm also seeing, I have a necklace of copper like this, okay? And it's protecting the solar plexus from energy drain, like people you're around, people who draw on your energy. And I'm getting like a vacuum sort of sucking energy. You might have energetic vampires in your environment. Okay, it doesn't have to necessarily be malintent. It could just be things we're doing in our environment that we don't realize are draining our energy. Electronics, certain foods, certain lighting, certain people, certain sounds, certain colors, something here feels like it's draining in some way. Okay. The mask of altruism, 64. So 64 is 10. 10 is ending. We were feeling the ending and transformation here. Also 10's Wheel of Fortune, which is something that is divinely guided, that has a lot of ups and downs, twists and turns, but we can't really do anything about the universe's spin. Okay, and also 10 is sun, and sun is consciousness, which would be when we go through a period of awakening, it's a higher state of consciousness, although the mask of altruism is, where we might be developing a sort of a spiritual ego, We might try to be something that we're not quite embodying, kind of like a fake it till we make it. And so sometimes when we're suffering, we sort of do the action of, what do I need to be or do in order to alleviate myself? If this means I'm being altruistic for a need to free myself, that there's still an ego there because it's still about the self, is kind of what I'm getting. Wow, that's an interesting message. Okay, and then we have this deck I don't use very often. It's not traditional. Okay, and I'm going to read it intuitively as well, because the cards' meanings aren't traditional, although this is the Five of Swords or the Five of Air. Okay, they use the Five of Air, but it's not the traditional. I think this is the Tarot of Gaia, but this wouldn't be a Five Swords so much as when we see this card, we see the dragonflies, which I always talk about here as, piercing through what isn't real, seeing the truth behind the veil. Her eyes are closed, so she's having to navigate without seeing with her senses what the truth is. And she's removed her mask, but she's still hanging on to it. And so there's this void again. Like the mask is still visible here in the reading, and that means, and she's not quite embodied, because having her eyesight isn't innately against spirituality. We are also part of the body. Okay, but we're not the body itself. But once we go through the process, we get to the other side, we drop the mask here, and we're able to drive with the intuition, which is not the eyes, but we also have the eyes. So there's something about we're being in this void space still, or we're sort of, we took off the mask, or we're not sure what to do with the mask, I feel here just yet. We're still not clearly seeing, but we're not asleep. So we're learning. Okay, well, we're all learning at the end of the day. Breakthrough, beautiful. So here we have number 11. So we have 1111 coming through your reading. I forget which other 11 we had. This is this one. Okay, so 1111, some of you guys might resonate with the twin flame journey for sure, but it doesn't have to necessarily be. But the twin flame journey could symbolize the union of self, the unity, the masculine, feminine coming together, two aspects of self becoming unified here. And so there might be a breakthrough here in your process. I'm getting a lot of the 8 Wands energy from this. Yeah. And I'm getting a lot of the, well, it's a mixture here of an 8 Swords, but to me, it kind of feels like we're learning how to use the High Priestess at the end of the day and take off the, I was going to say the Queen of Wands energy, Yeah, that's kind of what it's giving me. Okay, so awareness, yes. Coming into awareness here. 7, what is 7? Chariot, which is the integration of the shadow. And there we see the shadow, but look at what it's transmuting. It's like blue. So fascinating. I'm picking something up, and I don't know if I know how to put it into words here, because it's not quite orange, which would be the fire of the transmutation, but it's blue. It's hotter than fire, or it's a low flame here, but it's hot. It's beginning. Okay, I think I know where you're at in your journey here based on this reading. Okay, yeah, control. So we all know that is egoic driven, shadow driven. That is just an illusion. Okay, and then we have rune stones, ancient wisdom, fate, and divinity. Wow, interesting, because we were getting the Wheel of Fortune. Okay, but the runes are used for divination, so we could have psychic abilities sort of coming in, being led by the intuition. And this is the bridge, again, that void space. It's like it's not just embodied and understood, inner felt. It's the tool that sort of guides us in the in-between state, but we're opening that door to the ancient wisdom. But this does feel very faded, and it does feel very divinely guided here, okay? And then we have Ellen, Pathmaker and Guide 7. I should have got the book. Give me a second. I do want to read this. Because I do not use this deck very often, but before I channel, I do want to tap into every card here so I can really absorb what it is that the Spirit is wanting you to know here. Okie dokie. So 7, Ellen. Okay, Pathmaker and Guide. Remember we said guide here with the owl. It says in an old Welsh story called The Dream of Maxine Wilden. Eldon, an oh my goodness, I can't read. An otherworldly prince. I honestly cannot read. What is happening here? It's getting worse and worse. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's start all over. In an old Welsh story called The Dream of Maxine Wilden, Ellen, an otherworldly princess of Britain, appears to the Roman Emperor Maxine in an Essling, a dream vision. She acts as a guide, captivating him with a vision of a beautiful land across the waters and a beautiful woman there with whom he instantly falls in love. And so Ellen reels Maxine in along the thread of her dream paths, bringing him to her so that he can marry her and serve the land alongside her as his king, as its king. Oh my goodness, you guys, did we not say twin flame here? This seems like lovers that she's reeling in here. Okay, the story tells us that it was Ellen who built the so-called Roman road, which joined up for the first time the various remote regions of the land. The story firmly states that the men of Britain who have allowed the roads to be built for no one but her, because she was native to the land and the land's representative. Ellen, like so many other female characters in Celtic myth and story, is a representative of sovereignty, the goddess of the land. Wow. The building of these great connecting roads. Remember I said the in between again. Yeah. The building of these great connecting roads is the reason why Ellen has now come to be known as Ellen of the Ways. Ellen then can be seen as an ally on her journey, a native goddess and a guide who helps us to dream into being our own unique pathway through life. Look for her in your dreams. Okay. Wow. I'm getting goosebumps. All right. So you guys can skip ahead while I channel this. Or while I channel I don't know what's going on with me. Oh, Linda, while I sit here with this energy and fumper around here with these cards so I can do this and get into your reading. Yes, beautiful. All right. Oops, so sorry if that was loud. I'm so sorry. Okay, beautiful angel pile number 1. Thank you so much for being here. I love you so much, and I feel your energy. I feel you. So if you didn't sit through the card process, every card was really speaking to me here in this pile, okay? So I feel like there's many layers to this with many meanings, okay? And so hopefully I do this justice. You are definitely amidst a very divine spiritual process journey. We all are, okay, in our own way. This one is led by the divine, as they all are, okay? But I feel like there's something profound here in regards to your specific journey here, in which it's showing me where you're sort of at and what your I want to say it's your specific spiritual purpose is, okay, but I don't want to box you into anything here. So just keep it open, see where it flows, okay? So for one, I do feel you're going to become a guide of sorts. That's your calling. So a lot of you guys already feel it in your bones, okay? Like you're going to be a channeler. You might use runes, divinity. You might just channel the divine for others through whatever means you use. And you're sort of like this pathway, tunnel, bridge, if you will, from the ethers here to the 3D world for those who maybe are not developed yet, sort of like what I'm doing here. Okay. There's that aspect. Okay. But it doesn't have to be in the exact fashion, obviously, of tarot or like this, but in overall, same sort of idea. But I feel the feeling is different here because it seems like I'm seeing like a channel. I mean, I am channeling, but it doesn't feel like it's, what's the word, spirit? I'm not seeing it as sort of like I'm opening the doorway. Okay, hopefully this is making sense to you. For those of you guys who read tarot might know, it's like I'm opening the doorway and there's the channel. It could just be the way I channel. I don't know. I see this, yours sort of like this long, I see a long, like the wormhole could be worms or long, like a snake, like a tunnel, like a bridge. And so I feel like you're really bridging gaps within like geography. This is so weird. Hopefully this makes sense. Oh my goodness. I've never had such a thing that I didn't understand, you know, and it could be because it's so highly spiritual in its own little niche and realm. But I don't know. I don't specialize in this, you know, so it could be like certain geographical healing of certain pieces of land, or like certain cultures, bridging them together, or like different parts of the 3D and unifying, bridging, because it could be collective. So, you know, like certain parts. I don't know. It's seeming like it's unifying or bridging two different parts. Okay, but you are a channel as well. So you do come with the ability, obviously, to be very connected with the divine in a clear way that allows you to guide this thing. But I feel like there's the power of the bridging of the two lands, two people. Okay, but there is also the energy of this being, because the story that I read, and you can go back and read the card layout, she was calling in her divine beloved here, okay? And we were having 1111. Some of you guys might be on a twin flame journey if you resonate with that, okay? Like a higher, the spiritual connection of masculine and feminine coming together, okay? Divinely guided. And if you're not on the twin flame collective here, it's the masculine and the feminine within the self. Okay, but the masculine within and the feminine within self and everybody is one that becomes balanced when we end up, you know, becoming more unified, more crystallized, and more in alignment with their spirituality. So this is all about a higher state of consciousness, okay, that you're gaining throughout this journey, however fast, however slow. Again, time isn't counted here, okay? But Spirit is saying there is a period here where I feel you're not there yet, only because it takes as long as it takes for the transmutation to happen. And I feel like this message from Spirit is assuring you a breakthrough. So one, I feel like you might be tired. You might just need confirmation. You might want to know, like, what's next? Or is this the peak of it? Or, oh, like, we're just putting the pieces together, right? And so you're in the void right now, okay? You're getting there. I don't know where sort of in the again, I'm seeing the tunnel you are, but you have to go through the same experience of that tunnel, I feel. Okay, like we all go through the void journey before we get to wherever certain purpose is on the other side. But I feel yours is specific to traversing the tunnel in which you create for the bridging of the two lands or the two people or the, I don't know, you know, and that finds harmony here on earth. It unites rather than divides. And so you're healing the earth, you're healing the land, you're healing the collective, you're healing two different things and bringing them together. So you're unifying, okay? And so is very sacred work and very specific to your line of mysticism. Okay. And I feel like as a guide here, you are in a higher level of position, okay, with your ability to guide others. Okay, you could be guiding other spiritual masters, but I feel it could even be like bringing two spiritual masters together so that they become unified. Like, I feel like you're like the glue here, you know? Okay, but I do feel there's still an ego presence here. And maybe this is what we were talking about, like what's your next level up or your breakthrough, or maybe something you need to be aware of here, okay? Now, when we are aware of something, the ego first wants to get all over it and then get rid of it. And then take and use the ego to sort of claim it as a doing. Okay. And so it's very tricky here because I feel like this energy is one in which the basic egos might have fallen away, but now there's a spiritual ego happening here. Okay. And the spiritual ego here, it could be part of the process for sure. But if we're not aware of this spiritual ego, we start to cling to the spiritual ego and stay stuck there for some time. And so I feel like there is a mask here of spirituality is what I feel, okay? And so maybe it looks something like this. I know I'm not who I was. Some of that ego's fallen away. I understand the concept of higher state of consciousness and unifying and contributing to the collective from a place of service to other. Okay, but I am still tied to my identity and I'm still coming from the angle of self. And so I'm transitioning from self to other, and or other as in we are all one. And now there is no more me, I. There is no more independent self that's going to take the victory here, because I feel like there's I am doing this out of my experience or my knowing or through my transformation or my growth or my consciousness. And it's like, no. You're just a channel, just like I'm a channel and we're all channels. And so everyone channels whatever level of the divine, one source, to the capacity in which they are meant to, okay, by divine will and by whatever energy that the source says is right for that vessel. Because your story will be different than everyone else's story, and it's specific to you. Although the energy that flows through this, the thing that gives it life energy, the flow, is that of the divine that runs through everyone and everything. And so there is no skill or talent here. There is no doing. There's no you having to learn this, and that's where we get stuck. And so I feel like we might feel like the ego comes online to try to uncover, like, what do I need to know more? What is the information I need to develop this? What is the knowings I need to keep in my tool belt or my arsenal so I can become bigger or greater? But your purpose seems like it's for a cause of service, which appears good. Great. It's for service. So why shouldn't we? Why we shouldn't go about it this way is because the divine says this gets in the way. What you are supposed to be learning, you don't know. How can you be seeking it? And so you might be invested in seeking, and the divine's putting in front of you something else that you're absolutely supposed to be knowing as a part of this skill, but you don't know what you don't know. And so that's more of a distraction. And so your doing now is actually becoming a distraction. Whatever you're doing, I don't care if it's spiritual. I don't care if you say, but it's for the highest good. There's something here about it's coming from the ego. And I do believe you when you say you have a good intention. Okay, but Spirit's saying any intention from ego is not aligned. And we don't know when we're, when we are actually just completely in this neutral energy, channeling divine, without any sort of influence of the ego. I hope this is making sense, okay? And so when we still have a little bit of ego, and I mean everyone has ego, but when we still can't fully see it transparent, like see through it, it takes the reins in certain aspects of our world. Still, we might not be driven in the same way. And when I say drive, I don't mean like inspired to act. I mean like driven, like what gets us moving. Like what is the intention is no longer driven from the same place. Or how do I word this? Sorry, it's getting difficult as we sort of get into these more higher level concepts of spirituality. But it's like when we see through all of the ego's games, we want nothing to do with it. And it's like seeing the color red, a red thread in like a sea of white, you see it instantly, any part of ego. When you're in this state, which is still transitioning. The ego still dying off. There's still the dark nights of the soul here that are still most likely intense. We're still in the void figuring it out. We can't really see the red thread because it's mixed in with some other threads and other colors here still, And so the ego slips in there and then it tells us the story. And right now there's a story here of a doer that is on a journey, that is going to be providing some form of service, and that is what I'm telling you. But what Spirit is telling you is don't stick to it. Allow that understanding and guidance to flow through you. Without seeking it, it will come. Do not get in your own way, seeking it and trying to understand how you're going to do it or how to become better at it. You won't know. The ego doesn't know this stuff. The ego wants to know. It wants to claim victory. I learned that. I know that. I know how to read tarot. I know how to read runes. I studied. I know. No, it doesn't matter because this isn't a thing of studying. This is a thing of when I am without the ego, when I am purified, when I am aware, when I am in a higher state of consciousness to the point where Spirit says, I am ready, Spirit gives you all of the knowledge. Spirit gives you the gift. Spirit gives you the understanding. Spirit acts through you. Spirit feeds you everything you need to know. You are a beautiful guide here. You do not need anyone. You do not need me. You do not need YouTube. You do not need books. You do not need any of that stuff, okay, to do what it is that you're going to do. Now, does that mean avoid it? No. Does that mean, no, I can't listen to anything? I can't listen to Linda. I can't. No, because anything you're refusing or rejecting, because again, that's the spiritual ego that now says, well, I want to just do it myself, or I don't need those things. It's going to be pure to me. It's like, no, ego again online. So see how sticky it is. This is like, if I want to listen to certain things or read certain things, I do it because it's entertaining. That has nothing to do with your skill, nothing to do with your beautiful spiritual energy that's flowing through you here. You're not going to learn it in a tarot reading. You're not going to learn it when you read about the next level of consciousness or non-duality or any of this stuff. Okay? None of this stuff's going to come to you. You might resonate with it more. You might come across certain information. You're like, oh, now that makes sense. It's like, yeah, now it makes sense because you eliminated everything that didn't make sense. And not through the process of anything other than you transmuting your own energy, going through the dark night of the soul, allowing the natural process of the divine to work through you. You're in a cocoon stage right now, okay? And I think at times, what Spirit was showing early on here is you might feel very restricted. You might even feel lonely. You might even feel like, where's it going from this? And feel like it's really, 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 it might not be a very good energy here because we can't see beyond a certain thing. We can't see beyond the veil. We can't see beyond our ego. We can't see where this is leading. It's very limited and it feels very restricting and also feels very lonely here. Okay, this will change. It is transforming. It's transforming right now as we speak. You're still in a process of shedding and releasing. Okay, there's still false self. Like I said, you're still seeing behind the veil so you can see the greater truth of consciousness. You can't see it. The longer we hang on to the mask, the identity, the ego, the story of altruism, I'm going to heal the earth. I'm going to be part of this collective. I'm going to be of service to others. Okay? We're just sort of a being. If that's what Spirit is being and living through you and experiencing, let it be. Maybe tomorrow you won't be. Maybe tomorrow you'll just be something else, So allow Spirit to let you be as you're supposed to be here. Okay, I think it's a beautiful energy, and that energy must come from a vessel that is ready to bridge and channel this energy that I don't think many people are just able to just do this without them either having a previous life of understanding of this thing, and so your vessel must be developed in a way that can carry and channel maybe for long distances, or travel, know how to move the energy. I don't know how to do any of this moving of the energy in that way. Yeah, transmutation is one thing, but there's movement from like that place to that place, I don't know. It could be cosmos to there. Like there's lots of that, which provides healing. And like I said, it allows there to be this beautiful mixture of energy of light that's like flowing everywhere now, and maybe it's bringing that into pockets of darkness. How do we infuse areas of beautiful light into shadow? How do we do this? How do we know it's shadow? I don't know. I see this, okay, and I see that you're not doing this as of anything of the ego at all. You don't read it in a book and now you're all of a sudden going to be better at it. No, okay? This is all about, Spirit is saying, the process of now whatever you were, okay, whatever you were, I don't know, a year ago, 6 months ago, working wherever you were working or doing whatever you were doing, whatever's not you is falling away. That's all you need to do. Transmute whatever you're not. You're becoming more aware. And you got to relinquish the ego. Okay, because I do feel the ego is showing up here in a few cards. Okay, so it's like masked as the spiritual ego. So we have a good intent. And then we might not be seeing that we have our own sort of ego on here. Okay, and so we can't see the truth as long as we're hanging on to the false. And there's still like a reason here as to it feels safer. It might give me a sense of control mixed with obviously still being habitual, because in order to trust the divine, this comes through a process. We don't just all of a sudden have faith and trust. It's scary for the ego. So the ego has a die off here and it has a little temper tantrum, but it would be our job to observe and say, what's my ego doing right now? Is it trying to control? Is it trying to know so it can know more, so it can take the victory, so it could do something? Because there is no doing here. Just let the divine come. And every time the ego tries to come online, it's like, ego, I see you. You're transparent. I don't need you here. Thank you. And don't pay it any mind. Don't infuse it. You don't have to resist it, because again, that would be control. I'm trying to force my ego out the door. I'm trying to not be like this. No, that's ego. Okay. Either which way we slice and dice it, unless we're completely neutral and just observing and not feeding any of that story, that is the neutrality that's required here. Okay. And now there was something coming through about a suck of energy. And I feel like for all of you guys, it is something, and it could be that it could be just this ego. Like I said, you're infusing that ego story or that attachment to an identity of self. I'm going to be more spiritual. I am a healer. I am whatever. Fill in the blank. And now I feed it, but there is heavy distraction because something's sucking your energy. It could be just that alone. But I do feel like there's either people or your habits or certain things you're doing or something in your environment, like I said. And it could be as simple as the color of your bedroom, the lights in your office, not getting enough sunlight here in some way, or like the feng shui in I know nothing of feng shui, but the feng shui of your home, or there is an energy suck here. And so what is it? You might already know what that is, but if you're not conscious enough, because we don't have space to observe, we might just be acting unconsciously. I always just automatically have my cup of coffee, and that could be the thing. It's just that one thing is the suck, that one thing that's sucking the energy here. And as long as that's sort of doing that, it slows this process because we're still in the void, and so we don't have to like quit everything, but being very in tune, like what's the diet doing right now? What is the body doing right now? Or what's the environment right now? What's the noise? What are my senses doing at all times? So I'm aware of what it's doing. And then I notice, is my body feeling heavy now? Is my body feeling more light? Am I feeling more drained? How am I feeling after I interact with that person, place, or thing? And so this is giving me to cover the solar plexus. And like I said, I have a necklace like this made of copper. Okay, I said it in the card layout if you weren't here. And having it, I forget the name of it, but having it, okay, like covering the solar plexus energy sort of allows what's all pulling from your solar plexus energy. Because if there's something pulling from your solar plexus and it's constantly pulling and pulling, because I do feel there's a vacuum energy. It's sort of like, trying to fill a bucket with water, but there's a hole in the bucket, right? So solar plexus energy, it might be where you're at right now in regards to your transmutation of blocks in your chakras. Okay. And so this is like the will, and the, it's the heaviest ego chakra. Okay. It's the identity one. It's like, I am this, I do that. And when we feel challenged, when we feel like we need to prove ourselves, when we feel like we have an identity, that is all in that solar plexus energy. And so I think you're doing heavy solar plexus energy because of the fact that we still have this ego kicking around here, trying to latch onto whatever you're going through as its own story. I'm doing the healing. I'm the one going through a dark night of the soul. I'm the one becoming more enlightened. I'm the one that has higher state of consciousness. I'm the one who's going to have a breakthrough. I learned how to do this. No, none of that. We don't know. We didn't call upon this. The spirit just touched you. The spirit could touch anybody. Nothing to do with ego, and touch you on the shoulder and say, now's the time that you do the thing that it was that you were meant to do here, which is channel energy from, I don't know, Japan to Australia here or something, or from the dark shadows of the people who are like poisoning earth and bringing that to, I don't know, places on earth that aren't aware of what's going on in other places of earth. It could be animals as well. Like, I don't know, like I'm getting goosebumps here because it's a beautiful energy of healing and mixing it so we're not all secluded and divided and like whatever's going on, whatever's happening in sort of a forest here is not my problem. It's not my circus, not my monkey. So I don't care about what's going on, where things are dying out and I'm sort of in another secluded place in the earth. This is like, no, you're bringing it all to light. We're all one. Everything's one. All of God's sentient beings. And you're highlighting this beautiful thing. I love this energy, okay? But we're not quite the guide just yet as the graduated guide, because you must encompass the energy in which Spirit is saying has enough space to carry that energy. You are, like I said, I use the analogy of the bucket. Okay, so what I'm getting here is like the vessel. Okay, there's so many things that every time I try to explain this, I get difficult energy because I don't know how to use the words. But I imagine a tunnel. Okay, and this tunnel is like an artery of sorts, and it goes for distances, and it's all interweaving. I don't know, it's all over the place. Okay, like intestine, and who knows how long it goes for. And this must carry a certain amount of energy. Otherwise, what's the point? It can't process the energy flow to here to there that the divine is wanting you to move around. You didn't generate that energy. You're just sort of the channeler or the mover of energy. Okay, and so to be able to like move and flush that energy through, that capillary must be a certain width. And so how do we get to that width? I don't know. It can't be jammed with anything else. It can't have holes in it. Okay, and also the body vessel, because the body vessel is the only sort of body you have here on the 3D earth. So it also must be a vessel that is within a certain emptiness to carry the amount that's needed to be carried. If it's filled with something, a rock, a boulder, fat on the sides because it's built up over time, grime, who knows what, now it contaminates the energy getting from point A into point B. So it's like the pure channel must be, the artery must be free. No fat, no blocks, no egos, no foreign substances, no other chemicals, nothing here that's going to touch divine purity, especially when you're involved with collective. Nobody wants contamination. And also, this is coming through, if we have any iota of ego, service to myself, what's in it for me? Ego taking victory. Now we contaminate beautiful divine energy. And so you can't go impacting other people free will. I wouldn't want to get a tarot reading by anyone who's like putting any sort of false information or giving certain things in order for their own benefit, And that's why we feel like if something's genuine or not. If you get a reading from someone and it feels like, well, this just seemed kind of off or something, or flat or something. It's like, yeah, because they're contaminating your energy. Okay, by whatever it is. I don't really believe other people can contaminate you. You're the master of your own ship. But what it means is like, there is such a thing as free will. And there is such a thing as people believing in, this energy that can get infused in another through way of malintent. Now, this is why we have this. Okay, because like I said, nobody can take anything from you. If you're conscious, and you know that you're divinely protected, there is no darkness happening within you. But that doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Energy is energy, and it sits on polarity. Okay. And so if any part of your ego contaminates, because again, your skill or whatever you're doing here is different, and I have no understanding of this thing. Okay. I'm trying to channel it as best as I can for you. But it's like, if you have any of that foreign thing that the spirit doesn't supports, the spirit knows the ego is part of human nature, sure, but it has nothing to do with spirituality. In fact, it's contaminating the greatest growth here. And so if there's any of that remnants, it's like sediment in your water pipe. And now you're going to be like giving it to other people. And so I feel there's something about you having to be like a very good pure channel here. Okay. One, so you could be capable of doing it, and two, so that it could be to the effect in which spirit is saying it must be in order for you to be able to do it. And so it's like the blue is the hottest part of the flame, or I don't know if I'm making that up, but that's what's coming through here. So the blue is the hottest part of the flame. It's hot, hot, hot. Okay. But it's not the big raging fire here. And that's why I was kind of perplexed, because I would see fire as a transmutation of energy, right? And we're still working through the ego. So obviously we're still transmuting shadow. Okay. Releasing the shadow and the ego, blah, 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 so that we can have more awareness. So our state of consciousness could be bigger, but the heat here I feel is really hot, and it's still low here. So one, I think we're slowly getting into that next phase. So what's the next phase? It's like it's coming online. Okay, it's coming online, and I feel like spirit is needing to sort of dial up the extent of how do I say this? Let's say it's like, I don't know if any of you guys, my goodness, this is so interesting. Have any of you guys worked with, let's say, like standards of like let's just say you create certain control panels. Okay, that's the only thing I could really relate it to. And it's like, it must pass like CSA inspection. Okay, that's like meeting a certain standard. And so all the industry has to make sure that the control panel has to be regulated and made a certain way to withstand certain things in the environment, the power it charges. And this is totally giving me like that whole thing. And there's actual companies that make sure that the power is clean, that there's no dirty power. Otherwise it's like it won't pass the regulation. And so there's like certain stress testers that they do, and they stress it and they test it to its capacity. And it's like, let's put it to its maximum environment for 40 days and 40 nights and hose it down and keep it in the thing. And then we could sell that panel to the mine, and it could sit in the mine with all the salt, and all the tests must be done at its highest capacity. And then it says stamp of approval. You now pass the stress test. This is what I feel here. There's a stress test, and the stress test is like, you, my divine child, you're going to have to be able to sit in the mine with the salt and the heat and the environment. And if you bend already, and you can't even sit in like a light rain without getting rust, then your channel's not ready yet. It doesn't mean you can't ever do it. It means spirit is saying, because you are the divine child that is blessed with this beautiful gift, I must make sure that your vessel is able to function this way. And so the stress test is going to turn up the dial to all of the degree in which the biggest challenge you might hold here. Because let's say you're doing your work, you're performing your work, and now you got to bring energy from, again, like I use this analogy, but I don't know exactly what it means. Okay. It's like from, I don't know, Jamaica to Australia. And you're doing something energetically here, and then all of a sudden you get bogged down with some sort of intense energy that you don't know what to do. You short circuit. Okay. Now, of course, I'm not projecting anything here, but I'm just saying, like, you're incapable of functioning here. So this is like, let's make sure your capillaries are clean. Let's make sure you're not contaminated. Okay. And so this is probably why this again is like, you are highly protected, but how do you protect yourself? And maybe this is part of the skill too, is like, you must know when to come online with your own sort of detectors, like, whoa, suck energy. Don't touch my capillary. It's like, nope, that's going to contaminate to the capillaries. Like maybe you're the keeper of that, like you got to know, like when there's beep, 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 foreign substance that doesn't belong, that's contaminating the broth. It doesn't belong here. I must resist. I must not partake. But it's like, if we don't know and we're sort of, what is this? Why do I feel drained? Why all of a sudden it's like, I don't know, because your chemistry is changing here too, Wow. I don't know what to tell you. I don't even feel like doing tarot. I feel this is your reading. So where you're at, I mean, this is information. So you're knowing, maybe you already know all this stuff, but I think the next step is like stress test, stress test. Let's turn up the dial here. And this isn't anything to scare you at all. This is beautiful. This means you're having a breakthrough. After you pass this, and it's not like a pass or fail so much as it is, are you at the state and quality in which spirit now says you're ready for this next level of experience here? Can you do it in the real world or the real with the collective? And so I feel like your next level here is going through that stress test, and it could be a series. It could take X amount of time, or you might not pass the first time because it's like, whoa, I broke down, or the ego creeped in, and all of a sudden it's like, I didn't pass because I kept giving into the ego, kept making it about the I or the me, or maybe whatever constitutes as a failure, It's not a failure. It's just how many times do we go through something before it's learned and integrated, because it could be, I got to do it several times. And then every time I do it, my capillary gets wider and wider and wider. So it could be part of the process, not necessarily a failure. It's like you do it once, let's say you pass. It's like, well, how could you pass? Because the capillary is narrow. It's not wide. And so this is really abstract, but I hope this makes sense to you guys. Okay. So I feel you're in the process of the void. You're still passing the tests. You're broadening your channel, tool. What you need to utilize in your everyday channeling is being developed. And I don't know if it's invisible channel, obviously invisible channels, because we don't see these things happening, but it's certainly happening, but it's like specific to you or tied to you, or you could create them. I don't know. There's so much, and I could go on. And wow. And now I'm seeing all of, like I said, the intestines. Now I'm seeing it all here, which I wasn't seeing before. Is something about, maybe it's grid work, Is this grid work that I'm describing? I know nothing about grid work, but I've been hearing about it, And so there could be healing, repairing the earth through grid work, like really energetic grid work. And so if you don't know about it, maybe you do want to like just read about it, but then don't turn into the ego thing. I am going to be doing grid work because I am a healer and I'm going to be, no. This is the thing that's sort of creeping in here, and it might not sound as egoic as I just made it sound, but it comes through very subtle. It comes through the back door. That ego is very sticky. It's going to try to make it about it, That is the biggest crash here. That's for sure. Okay. The other tests I don't know about because I don't do this, but I'm going to tell you right now, if it's anything in regards to ego, anything in regards to, any sort of ownership and and need for control, then Spirit says it's not ready yet. You're not online yet. You're still getting there. It's still releasing. That's the thing we need to release. We're still learning. We're still transforming. We're still understanding. We're still not going to pass the test. Okay. But you are guided, beautiful angel, and you have a beautiful energy. And I'm so glad you're here. I don't think I've ever channeled a message quite like this one before. So, beautiful angel, I'll see you at the next one. And let me know in the comments what you're doing if you know what I'm talking about. And I'll see you at the next one. Bye-bye. Hello, beautiful angel pile number 2. You guys pick card 58 here. And this is the Spear of Destiny, or Longinus Spear, known as there's many different stories. Okay, but the spear that pierced the side of Christ here. So the spear is sort of the final blow. Okay, but when used in the hands of the righteous or the right, it could create shifts that create massive change. Okay, it takes down redundant systems and that sort of thing. So I don't know who's yielding this spear. Okay, but it is the energy of fire we have here. And that's Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. So let's take a look at the energy in regards to what you need to know right now, very specific to you and your journey and this next phase. Okay, you're leveling up. What's happening next here in regards to your spiritual journey, or what you need to know in regards to your next level up. you know? Okay, so use your intuition, which you'll see, feel, or hear to determine whether this is your pile or not. And if it does not resonate, do not force it. Go check out another pile, okay? So, and we have spectrum. All right. It's as it sounds. And then we have wishing and willing with harm, 37, or the number 10. So 10s are about endings. So what do we have there? 58. That's number 13, which is also transformation, which is all about death and release. So we have to end sort of cycle here, endings, completions, transformations. That was a theme in pile 1, could be connected. Okay, wishing and willing harm. That's what this is, you guys. I just finally connected the two. Remember I said the final blow, that sort of the spear is used to injure someone. It's like a very sharp cutting blow that puts something out completely. Now I'm seeing it kind of going this way, and I'm seeing it going that way. So it's something about the past, something about moving forward energetically. Let's take a look. Very interesting. 45, reflection. Reflect upon life experience. And it's looking a lot like a maze here. It's giving me brain. It's looking like a brain. Interesting. So number 9, fruition, completion, fulfillment, reflection. Okay, now these I haven't used in a minute, so I'm going to channel these intuitively, but this is the Tarot of the Gaia, which isn't standard tarot. Okay, but we'll see. Yeah, this is it just is 4, which is like emperor energy, but as you see, it's feminine energy here, but it is very earthly. We see a turtle, and she's pregnant. She's giving me Empress and Queen of Pentacles vibe, and Emperor all in one. Very earthly, very grounded. Okay, I'm going to sneeze. Just give me a sec. All right, and 4 is all about stability and groundedness. And then we have more earthly energy here with the 3 of Earth. Okay, so 3 of Earth, though, but look at this. This is like, looks like a Pan figure. His horns, and he's working with the creatures of the earth, a little squirrel here in the garden. He's planting acorns here. And interesting, the turtle talks about longevity, the acorns as well. Okay, something about timing here as well. And then we have the 2 of water. And we see 2 lovers uniting here, connecting. So it's like a 2 cups sort of energy I'm getting from this one, but it's also giving a lover's vibe. So let's see. Harmony. Wow. And look at you guys. And we see the 2 fish. And here we see the 2 dolphins. So for me, the 2 dolphins are soulmates. Okay, fish are abundance. They're coming together. 10 harmony, 10 of cups. Wowzers, wowzers, wowzers. The rebel. We've got another 4 emperor energy here, but this one's, we see the chains here, so I'm getting devilly energy, which we can take from these horns. But these chains are breaking. These chains are breaking. Okay, so more emperor energy. We got divine masculine, we got some Aries energy. Something about the past coming in. Something that's been long and steady in some way here. Something is breaking. Okay, and then we have the inner voice. This is High Priestess. So Pisces energy. Okay, and then we have the blade. Conflict, injury, and apprehension. Wow. We could definitely connect it back to the spear here. It creates that injury, like I said. Okay, but apprehension. Yeah, because we can use the spear to either damage or we could use it to create good. But I feel it's the dissolution of the redundant system. That's what I'm really feeling here, cutting it away. Okay, and then we have forest, finding the path. And here we see a wolf coming down this one. Okay, wolves could be tricky energy when it comes to, you're in the forest walking down somewhere. The last thing you want to see is a wolf, but you don't see it until you get down there. So getting hermit energy with this little person and their lantern, but they're in purple here, and we have the high priestess. Even the emperor is in the purple. And so there's something about the psychic energy coming through, but being at a crossroads, which is getting lovers, which is a choice of a destined path. K5 is all about challenge. And so we were getting a lot of that challenging energy with the spear. So I'm going to channel what this is about, okay? You guys can go ahead and skip to the channeled message, and I will see what this is about. Okay, pile number 2. Beautiful angel. Where do I begin with this channel? Let's get some signs, okay? So I am getting a lot of Earth, Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn, some Aries and some Pisces, and some Gemini and some Taurus and some Sagittarius here in this pile, okay? I feel like Spirit is really putting the biggest onus on you, okay? The big onus on you. And I feel like you're still getting to the understanding of how much power you actually have in your ability to move the needle whichever direction you're supposed to be going. And I feel like right now, you might not realize, or you might be in the process, or you might have been working on, how do I free myself from something that feels very oppressive? And I feel it's been like this for quite some time. How do I break free? How do I gain a sense of empowerment? What is within my ability? And then maybe feeling very much like we can't break out of what it is that we do know. And I feel like what you do know and have experienced has kept you still in the past. There's something about the past experience that is very, I'm going to use the word damaging, okay? And it's only damaging because it's keeping us in suffering. It's keeping us in bondage. It's keeping us in whatever is not allowing us to have the freedom and the movement here. And so Spirit's really putting the onus on you by saying, you have the ability to yield your energy because you are the master of yielding energy. And so when you consciously yield the energy towards a thought of negativity, okay, or whatever happened to me, or I'm the victim of circumstance, or this is my thought on that, without vetting it. So we're vetting that thought. And we're saying, is this an absolute thought, or is this just a belief of mine that I've always sort of carried as a result of what has happened to me or my experience? Because what Spirit is saying is that we're actually creating the suffering ourselves, and it's actually a lower vibration that we've been in. No matter how much our intention was to be healed and good and create positivity, because all of that coming from that, okay, maybe if I double up that energy, maybe if I think about that even more, it's like, no, we're still using that same energy to be in that same energy. Because there's no doubt in my mind that you have a beautiful energy that wants freedom, that wants movement, that wants harmony, that wants, but wanting, we could want till the cows come home. This is about doing the work, and maybe this is about, I don't know how to do the work. I'm not quite sure what I was supposed to do. or I heard what I was supposed to do, but I didn't know quite how to do it, because I feel you might have been told, and maybe even by my channel here, like to break the chain, disconnect, unplug, let it go. How do you do this, spirits? Surrender. Okay, and so I feel like that is a big part of the first step here. And so I think we're navigating what that looks like. And I feel some of you guys are finally learning how to break from this chain. But some of you guys are still unsure of that step, or still on wobbly legs. Because I feel like we're somewhere between kind of trusting and kind of still stuck in the old way of thinking. And Spirit says the minute we understand how powerful our energy is in regards to vetting what is within us at all times. Okay, that's the mind coming through and the feeling, because it could be all meshed together if we're not finally in tune with the body. We know this is my feeling, this is my thought. It's like we could be very in tune, and the only way to sort of do this is to get very still. And so this is why meditation is very important, because it's like if we're too much in distraction, we won't know the feeling from the thought, from the belief, from the energy. And it's just all one big energy field, and we're all mixed up, and we're trying to navigate through other people, experience what's going on inside, outside. It's all one big soup. We're still not able to find our way, see the forest for the trees. And I feel like you're in a messy soup right now, trying to find your way, but we could literally be here unless we do something different and new. And the different and new is Spirit saying, understanding and identifying is the first step of the energy in which we are feeling and experiencing. The very basic. Is this feeling belong to me? Is this feeling being projected onto me? Hopefully we know the difference, but if we don't, then go deeper than that. Where then did this feeling generate? Did I come up with this feeling? Did someone tell me this and then I felt this way? Then we'll know, is it coming from the outside in or the inside out? And although we are always creating our outside world, like everything in life, in paradox, as within, so without, as without, so within, as above, so below, as above. So what this means is that we're in the divine dance of the universe, and that we're not excluded. The body isn't excluded from that of divine spirit. Okay, and I think for this pile, I'm not going to get too high up in the spiritual terminology, because I think this is back to basic. This doesn't mean you're in any sort of basic form at all. This just means there is something we're really needing to break free from and navigate from, that's been the catalyst here to the energy in which I'm carrying. And now I don't know. And it could have been so severe, it totally rocked my foundation. I'm totally upside down. I'm totally drowning, or I'm totally lost, or I'm just, I don't know. 1 minute I'm this, 1 minute I'm that. I can't tell the forest for the trees again. And so Spirit is saying, we don't have to be, committed to hours and hours of meditation or anything, but we must be able to identify energy. And the only way to do that is to eliminate distraction, to get quiet and still. Otherwise, how will we know? If there's too much distraction and noise and vibration and distortion, you're not going to know. So that's the first step. And then when we're in that energy, we get antsy. Everything starts to bubble up, the emotion, the feeling, the thought. And we think, oh God, it's overwhelming. But that's part of the process. And we might say, well, I don't know. I'm supposed to be figuring out what's me and what's that. No, at first, just let it sort of, the sediment will fall. Just observe it. Wow, it's a big soup right now. Today, it's a big soup, Spirit. It's a big forest. I have no idea what's mine, what's theirs, what's what. Even if I eliminated the noise, and if it's too overwhelming, then okay, I do it for who knows how long until it's overwhelming. And then I push myself at some point to sit through the overwhelm. How much more of this can I sit through? And trust me, that sediment will fall, and you'll start to see, wow, this thought keeps coming up. This thought of mine. And it could be as easy as, does that belong to me? No, it was told to me. Well, then it's not mine. And the minute you identify that, you're no longer attached to it. You cut that thought off because you realize and you have the understanding, and it's in our human nature to identify what is false, what doesn't work. We don't hang on to. We course correct because it's our innate natural way to correct energy when it feels misaligned and not good. We just have to observe it. And if it comes up and it's like, whoa, I just realized I've been carrying this thought, and maybe I don't need to have this thought anymore. Maybe this is like the predominant thought. Why is this coming? And we just sit with it. So there's a lot of just observing the energy here. And why we must do this, okay? Because we might be really focused on like, I need to heal, or I need to release this memory or this experience or forgive this thing. It's like, okay, we can't get there. We can't forgive. We can't move on. We can't have a breakthrough. We can't get to the next step. We have to start at the basic. We have to meet ourselves where we're at. And no matter how much we know, because I feel like this is the thing, I think you know what you need. I think you know where you need to go. I think you know, like you really do have a good grasp of what it looks like conceptually, and where the answers are lying. You're right. But it doesn't matter how much of that you know. It's like, let me give you this analogy, okay? It's like you're wise and you understand that your maze that you're about to walk through has another end over here where you could come out of. You know this. Some people might not know that there's like an end to this maze, and they might just be in here thinking, yeah, I'm living my life. I'm going to the market, and they're just sort of here forever. You know that there is an opening on the other side of this maze, so you're already aware. But you're here, and it's like you're focused on the the opening of the maze. And you're like, oh, if I sit here and I think about it more, I just say, okay, I need to let go. Let's say letting go, or whatever this outcome is. Peace sits on this side. Freedom's on this side. Liberation on this side. It's on this side. And so it's like, oh, I know it. Okay, but I know it. Like everyone's telling me it's the answer. So I'm going to pray on it. I'm going to dream on it. And it's like, yeah, but we're still here. And so you got to go over here. You know that this is like freedom and liberation. Okay, this representing moving on from whatever. But we have all of this navigating. Okay, now I don't want you to get overwhelmed, because it's not like you got to go like completely take forever. It's like the minute we meet ourselves here, where I'm at, like I said, get still. There's a bunch of distortion here. It's going to show you automatically your beautiful energy. And you could already, once you sit here, you could already just like fast track your way to this in no time. Because I feel like you already have a bunch of experience over here of knowing, or seeing or understanding, but you haven't met yourself where you're at in the physical. And so it's like, I got to meet myself where I'm at. All the challenge, all the trauma, all the distortion that's going on, whether it be mine or not, in this physical vessel. And once I sit with it, it's going to do its own thing. It's going to go woo, 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 and take you over here. And then you're going to say, whoa, I am no longer attached to that story, that experience, that weighed down thing. I feel free. I've surrendered. I've moved to this part. But right now, you're not meeting yourself where you're at. This is what it's telling me. And so what happens when you meet yourself where you're at? Freedom, structure, harmony, whatever you planted is going to come to fruition. Okay, abundance, union, happiness, a meeting of the minds. Okay, but I feel like Spirit is saying right now, you're still at the crossroads of the mouth opening. And it doesn't matter how long you've been telling yourself whatever you're telling yourself, that's just lip service. That's just an idea. That's just a theory. That's just a knowledge. That's just a thing that you know. It means nothing in regards to the actual healing part. And so what I'm feeling here is that there's a need for masculine healing, the doing of the healing, the understanding of the healing in a way that's inner experienced, allowing ourselves to go through whatever comes through and let it naturally do its thing. There's nothing for you to have to do so much as it is meeting yourself where you're at with the stillness and then just observing. I feel there's emotions that need to get flooded. I feel there's a past that we're still connected to or chained to or still trying to free ourselves from. I feel like we might be really hung up on a form of identifying what we want as far as structure, as far as what we want to get grounded, as far as what we need. But I feel like it doesn't matter what you want. Spirit will know what it is that you're requiring for healing and growth. Spirit knows. And Spirit is saying, trust that all you need to do is meet yourself where you're at and let the sediment fall where it may, by observing, with just being silent, and everything else will come forward. I think you're being intuitively guided. I think there's emotions that need to get processed. I feel that there is a need to apply the mystical way to your way of dealing, because I do feel like there's a very practical way about you, okay, which is great because that's 3D practicality. But I feel like there is the spiritual realm that is coming through here, trying to guide you in a way of the unseen. So intuition, emotion, the other dimension, not just because we're not like aware of it with our five senses. This is all on another sense here that Spirit is wanting to come in order to heal this thing, because this thing will not be healed through the five senses, And if we have never experienced what it means to surrender, or what it means to sit and observe, or sit in silence, or release emotions, then if we haven't done that, then this thing won't sort of just disappear, And although Spirit knows how to do it naturally, we have to be with our free will, to allow Spirit to say, I am ready, and I am showing the willingness to get in front of this thing or do something different here. Because I feel like you're going to have a breakthrough. This is the level up. The breakthrough is what's required here. And instead of it being weighed down by the experience of the past, we're using that experience of the past to move us forward to the healing of the future. Because I feel like, again, the energy that you hold is the answer. And if you're infusing it towards one direction, it's going to create more suffering and pain. And if you turn it towards a different direction, it's actually going to create healing and momentum and movement and breakthrough and liberation. But where are you situated to say this is backwards or this is forwards? You got to be somewhere. Okay, now this is sounding a little abstract, maybe even for this pile to follow, but you're going to be intuitively sort of pulled by what I'm saying here, and it's going to make sense to you. You got to be somewhere. You got to be somewhere on the dot of healing, somewhere on the ascension, somewhere on the process, somewhere on the journey, somewhere you got to be. Like you go to the mall and the little dot says, you're here, beep, 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 you're here. Where are you? You got to know where you are. And once you know where you are, the only thing you need to do is just ask Spirit, I want to be very conscious and aware of my own energy right now. And it will start to show you, these are your thoughts, these are your feelings, this needs to be fleshed out, this needs to be more understood, this needs to be explored, this needs, and nothing needs, but Spirit will pull it through as a need, as a thing that's like, whoa, I feel called to do this. I feel called to meditate for 3 hours because my body is making me feel this way. Let me try it. It feels natural. No one's telling you. Don't let me tell you. Maybe it's not meditation. Maybe it's something else. I don't know. Maybe it's like, it could be a form of meditation. Maybe it's like listening to music, Maybe it is, I don't know, like writing in your journal, and you've never done that ever, but you're called to do that. I feel like there's something here in regards to meeting yourself where you're at, and then being highly in tune with what is there already. And it will show itself to you so that you can identify the different components of self that's happening within you. It doesn't have to necessarily be tied to the past thing, because I feel for a lot of you guys, there might be a lot of infusion in the thing that happened to me, the divorce, the I don't know, the betrayal, the point in time in which things will never be the same. the point in time that I took the big blow, you know, and we might think that's the thing that I need to heal. And when I heal that, then I'm good. It's like, no, it's all interconnected. This thing was buried like a can of worms and all other things. It wasn't about the secluded thing. There's so many other things happening. And so what Spirit's saying with this message is that this thing happened so that you could peel the can of worms and look at all the other things that were actually there being called to look at. It was a catalyst to your spiritual practices here. It was the catalyst so that you could work on all the other worms that come with it. And I have a feeling we were so focused on this one worm, you know, this one thing. And it's like, in theory, it sounds good. If I heal the thing that made me break or was like creating my suffering, then I'd be healed and I'd be liberated. It's like, no, the thing that created that pain was so you could reflect on everything that's sort of is sitting there in the well. Because I assure you, this energy has way more sitting in the well than just this one experience. There's a lot going on here, you know, and not to overwhelm you. It's all going to be shown to you. And once you see it and sit with it, it's now out of the shadow. It's like healing. It's like, this should sound liberating to you. It's like, wow, I don't have to be entrapped. I don't have to be weighed down. Once I let this out and I see it, I don't have to push it away, shun it, suppress it, reject it, run away from it, or do anything other than just see it. Okay, cool. Yeah, you got to do it. But it's, again, how do we do it? We got to just sit with it in a way that's not under distraction and just let it do its thing. And Spirit is beautiful because it will do its thing. And you're going to start to make forward movement. And you're just going to feel yourself going through. You're not going to have to know, I got to go left. No, it didn't work. Now I got to go right. I got to figure this out. No, I'm using this as a maze, okay? It's like Spirit's just going to be like, whoa, okay, now I feel like I'm whatever, getting into meditation. Now I feel like I don't know, understanding sleep more. I'm like getting messages through my sleep or like my journaling, or it could just be one thing. Or all of a sudden it's like I have one big session of cry and all of my childhood came up. Who knows? And maybe 2 days of this whole thing. And now I'm here and liberated and I already feel like moving forward, you know? There's something about you really just having to meet yourself where you're at in order for there to be forward movement, and knowing that you're the one that's going to be the dictator. Is it healing today, or is it contributing to the suffering of the past by and not you wanting, because nobody's going to say, well, I'm going to want to choose to stay in the past. Of course you don't want to, but your energy here is saying that your everything is still attached to that past thing. No matter how much you don't want it, no matter how much it's hurting you, no matter how much you say it's weighing you down, no matter how much you say it's not aligned with me no more. Though it sure is, it's in your energy in that way. And so it's matching your energy vibration. And so the only way to release it is to change your energy vibration. And the only way to change the state is to what? When we have water with a bunch of sediment and we shake it, that's the state. It's all cloudy, right? That's one state. If we sit there long enough, eventually the sediment will settle. That's a different state. It's a different state, so it pulls in different energy. Your energy is being asked to be in a different state. The different state will allow you to move forward. The same state will keep you in the same state. No matter how much you pray that this thing goes away or that you have freedom or liberation, it's not going to happen. And so when you do this, your intuition will keep guiding you through this thing. It will show you. There's no need for you to be have more knowledge. How am I going to get through this? What do I need to know about childhood healing? What do I need to know about masculine healing? What do I need to know about shadow work? Nothing. Nothing. Now, does it mean you got to refuse it? No, you can listen to whatever you want about shadow work and inner child healing and all of that. Sure. But that's not going to heal you. Knowing it is one thing, but what the Spirit is going to guide you to do is a natural thing that you have no idea what it's doing. It's just happening. You're just making space for it. You're just sitting silent. You're just being the observer. You're just there watching what's happening. Okay. Not judging. Oh, here comes this pain again. I'm so shameful. No, I experienced this thing. My experience of God experienced this thing. It wasn't even you. It was just this body vessel, you know, and watching it. Watching the release, watching the tears, watching the anger coming out, not attaching to it, not saying, this is my anger, this is my sadness, this is my tears. No, it's not. It's a release of energy. This energy, Spirit, let it be free. Let it go however it goes. I'm just observing. Of myself, I do nothing. You are guiding me. You are healing me. If this means I must meditate like this for a year straight, every day for 10 minutes in the morning, then let it be so, because I'll feel freer and I'll constantly be guided. I don't know how long it's going to take you to navigate, but Spirit is saying, you know what you want. You want liberation. You want freedom. You want growth. You want abundance. Okay, but the choice is yours right now. And so we could stay stuck here in this nightmare. But Spirit's saying on the other side is exactly what Spirit knows, because Spirit says you have a vision in your mind what you want. You're seeing it already. You're trying to plant it, but you're coming from the devilly angle, the unfree angle, the energy vibration in which will not bring it. And Spirit saying all those wonderful things and dreams that you want, the abundance, the relationship, the harmony, the blessings, the whatever abundance looks like, the money, the health, the wealth, all of that stuff you have in your mind that you want. Spirit is saying it's coming from an angle that won't manifest in this energy. And so Spirit says, let me take you there, my child. I know how it's going to manifest for you, but you must be willing to trust, and you must make the decision. And that when you make the decision, you're showing trust. You're saying, I trust that when I sit here and observe and don't judge, that Spirit's going to take the wheel, that all will be revealed, that the sediment will settle, or that the emotion will come up, or that the healing will happen. It will. Okay, this isn't woo-woo talk. This will happen. And this is why people use distraction, because they get very uncomfortable sitting with their own energy, because we have a lot of stored up energy, pent up stuff. And so we must be on our phone. We must be watching YouTube. We must be in distraction, drinking, reading. It's like the next minute we're like, oh, I need to get to work. I need to get to that email. I need to do. No, you don't. What happens when you don't? Do you feel anxious? Are those thoughts overpowering? Like, oh, I'm just wasting time. No, that's the ego. I got to do this. I got to do that. No. Or else why? Or else the ego says, I have no control. There's no structure here. It feels too watery. Okay. And it might feel overwhelming. That's okay. Can I be in a body that's overwhelmed? Can I be in a body right now that knows it's safe structurally, but that's going through the sediment process? Can I watch it? Can I observe it without judgment? Can I do this now? If I can, perfect. But if I don't, Spirit is saying you're actually creating a lower vibration here to the collective in the energy you're in by the distraction, by the unhealed version of you, by maintaining a lower state of consciousness, by not allowing the free will to open the door to meeting yourself where you're at. No matter how much in your heart you want good blessings, no matter how much in your heart you're saying, but I want good things. I want love. I want a relationship. How could that be bad? It's not bad what you want. But your energy is telling the universe what's low vibration, and you're contributing to the low vibration. And so do you want to have a higher vibration? You might say, well, no, I just want what I want. And Spirit's saying, well, to get what you want, you need the higher vibration. You need to be in the matching vibration of that which you want. A loving relationship vibrates at a certain level. Abundance and wealth vibrates at another level. And if I'm in one vibration of energy, it doesn't compute. It doesn't match. We can't match that timeline. And so Spirit says, your energy, the dictator of whatever timeline you want to go. Do you want to go in the lower vibration timeline? It's up to you. Do you want to go in the higher? Do you want to go here? Do you want to go to this timeline of energy vibration? Up to you. You're the master of your energy vibration. But you can only master your energy vibration when you know where you're at, when the sediment isn't all shooken up, when you're in a still state of mind and the sediment settles and you're the master, and you're like, whoa, you mean I have control whether I'm still? I have control whether it's chaotic? I don't have to be distracted on my phone and playing Uno? No, you don't. And the more you sort of are in this energy, it's like the more aware you are, and the more power you'll have, and the more your energy shakes at a different vibration. It's like, whoa, I'm actually more aligned with something else. And then you bring in and you manifest. So manifestation isn't just appearing magically out of the sky. Manifestation means I match my vibration to that in which I want. And I feel you want something. And it could be as basic as I want to heal from this fucking thing. Well, guess what vibration you're in? You're in the vibration of the thing that happened. And so you might have more of the same. You might stay in that healing state forever. My vibration of energy must shift so that I can manifest different. Okay? This is what Spirit's telling you. Beautiful angel, I love you so much. I don't think I'm doing tarot for this pile either, because it feels very clear to me. Your next level up here is in your hands. The choice is yours. And Spirit is saying, how conscious are you? Are you aware of your sediment? You know, I say the sediment, whatever, the energy body in which is going on. Meet yourself where you're at. You don't have to actively resist the thing that happened and not think about it and think that that's how I surrender or cut it out. No, be open to all that is by observation, and watch what falls away, and watch what shifts, watch what you no longer carry, watch what comes in, you know, and you'll start to have momentum and movement. You're going from a backwards sort of energy here, or stuck energy of focusing on the past, which is keeping you in suffering, to an energy that's movement and clarity and beautiful energy vibration. Okay, beautiful angel, I will see you guys at your next reading. Bye-bye. Hello, pile number 3. You guys picked this card right here, number 59, and this is the Grail Hollows the Stone. And so there's a lot of earth energy that does pull through here, but it's giving me, when I read it from the book, it's very much in line with sort of Hierophant energy, tradition, responsibility, okay, but also immortality, as well as a sense of responsibility. I don't know if I said responsibility. And so let's see how this plays out into your reading. We're looking at your next level up, if you will, okay, in regards to your healing journey or your spiritual journey. This will give you an indication maybe of where you're at, or what's coming up next, or what you're working through, okay? And so this will be a very specific message in regards to your level up from Spirit. And in order for you to know whether you resonate with this pile, I do suggest you sit through this card layout, ask Spirit what you'll see, feel, or hear to determine whether this is indeed your pile. Okay, and you could do that throughout this card layout, but if you want to go straight away to the channeled message, then you can click on the timestamp below. So let's see, we have the meadow, flourishing and regenerating. Number 6, beautiful, bunny in a field, gorgeous. And then we have Big Bang, oh my goodness. So what is this, out of nothing there was something? According to this theory. Flourishing and regenerating. Okay, and then we have automaton with the number 50. I always have a hard time saying it unless I say it that way. Automaton. So what is this? This is like a program, right? A program response. I'm kind of getting this Hierophant energy as well. When we were trained, there's some form of tradition here as well, but 5 is all about challenge. It's loss, change. It's also Hierophant energy, which is pretty interesting. Also, Hierophant is sort of a man-made thing, right? Like a tradition, or like a knowledge that comes from maybe even through some form of understanding intellectually that might not necessarily even be accurate, like Big Bang. We don't know. You know, it doesn't feel right to me. So it almost feels false, but it depends on what your scientific beliefs are. Some people do believe this. We don't know. So there's something here about maybe not seeing something or understanding something here, or being told something here, but we'll see. So 6 is Lover's Devil. So we have the polarity again of, you know, choosing the path of love or the path of fear. Interesting energy. 44. So that's a master number. Integrity is a foundation, treating the earth as home and a temple, manifestation and leadership, protection, safeguard yourself. And we have the crow here. What are you safeguarding yourself from? Man-made beliefs here. Automatic programs installed. Crow represents death, transformation, communication. So something that was communicated. Meadow, flourishing and regenerating. So something being regrown here. Okay. And then we have this is the page of Pentacles in a traditional tarot, although the meanings of the tarot of Gaia is a little different here. So He's giving me, yes, definitely earth, but also a little bit of Page of Wands energy mixed with a page of earth. And then he has this purple cloak. And so it's giving me heavy spiritual energy as well. And the frogs here, there's a bunch of frogs. Frogs can talk about cleansing and releasing, healing. Fascinating. Okay. And then we have past lives. Interesting. So remember we talked about tradition here, immortality. So this is very fascinating. The salamanders transmute energy here. Past lives. Okay, well, I'll put that there. And we have the creator. Wow, that's fabulous. So this is highlighting the solar plexus energy here, but I'm feeling it's like the one point of source here. One source of consciousness here with the creator. Yeah, source energy. Guidance, number 3. All right, so divine guidance, angel guidance, which would be divine guidance. And then we have caller, compliance, duty, and restriction. I'm getting that Hierophant energy and devil-y. Okay, we had devil with the number 6 and the Hierophant just because it's some form of a way of control in some way here, or limitation. Okay, a restriction. It says, let me see, because I don't know that I understand what's going on here. Just give me a moment. Okay, pile number 3. This is an interesting energy. Today's readings are fascinating. Hopefully this becomes clear by the time I'm finished this reading. Okay, but I am feeling some Capricorn, Gemini, heavy Taurus energy in this pile for sure. Okay, and some Temperance and some Aries, Leo. Okay, a little bit of Pisces as well. Yeah, so this is fascinating. I feel like there's something really pulling through about conditioning, you know, and whether it's been in this lifetime or this is indicating past lives, but this could definitely be every present moment here as the previous experience, which is not you no more. Okay, so whatever goes before you today listening to this reading at this moment would qualify to me as a past life. Okay, but it could go far back to all the lives you lived if you believe in that sort of a thing. Okay, but there is energy in which has no end and no beginning that is coming from divine source. And this energy is meant to manifest here on earth and create the thing in which it's meant to create. And when we manipulate the energy, because we have free will, we can distort it so much so that it gets in the way of our journey. It gets in the way of the true beautiful thing that we're supposed to be manifesting or creating, that we're being guided to create. There's something here about you working through a lot of man-made understandings. This could be traditions, concepts, programming, indoctrination. So there's a lot of this type of stuff, and identifying what is absolutely resonating with your soul as truth and what is sort of just told to me and then I understand it, and therefore I just believe it to be a part of my story or how something is going to go or how it is going. Because I feel like you're on a journey, as we all are. And in order for us to have a level up or a next thing, we must uncover what it is that's sort of keeping us under one understanding or under a block or something that might be misguiding. I feel like there's some misguidance here, and not that it's wrong or bad or shaming. All it means is that if I start from the baseline of a misunderstanding or something that isn't aligned with the divine truth, because there's only one divine truth. Okay, there's many different perceptions and different relative truths happening. Okay, and the grand truth is that all of these truths can coexist, but there's only one ultimate creator truth. Okay, you could call it source, divine, God, one. Okay, one power. And so this consciousness at the highest state is the grand truth. It is pure. It is clear of any sort of distortion. And anything that is second to that comes from the creator, but is still removed from the creator, has the ability to distort. And now it's removed from the truth. And so the more removed from the truth, meaning however many reincarnations I have, however times I'm removed, and now when I say removed, there's no such thing as separation, but removed as in the layers. The more layers between me and my lifetimes, me and my beliefs, me and my training, me and my stories, me and whatever it is here, the further away, even though it's all an illusion, I'm not far away from the creator. I've always been with the creator. There is no such thing as distance, but in energy understanding, the more fat in between my understanding and the creator creates the distortion, the veil. I can't see the creator because there's a veil covering what I can see of the creator. And I feel like the creator is beautiful light here that's very clear and very conscious and very guiding. And when we see the creator clearly, it's like our North Star and we follow it like a beautiful sunny day. And when my veil is distorted as fuck, I can't see this, it's too cloudy, I'm like, I can't follow the sun. And so I'm wandering, trying to figure out where to go. I feel like we don't know where we're going here, you know, not because we don't want to, not because we have any malintention, not because what we believe is bad. All it's saying is because of your beliefs, what you've been told and what you're understanding is actually keeping you not in a direct line to source here. And so we got to peel back the layer, and there is the obvious layers of distortion, which you might have already spotted. For some of you guys know, you haven't spotted the obvious. And I mean the obvious, what does the obvious mean, Linda? Obvious as in the devilly things, addictions, distractions. You know, if we're in addiction, distraction, that has nothing to do with following divine. That has everything to do with ego, habits, and non-spiritual stuff, right? We know this, obvious, but we might still be challenged by understanding that this is getting in the way. And now this doesn't mean I should have no addiction, therefore now I'm like gonna be able to be spiritual. That's not even what I'm saying. What I'm saying is all of that contributes to the veil. And so those are obvious things to see, you know, even though they might be difficult to break. Habits are difficult to break. Addictions are difficult to break. But we see them and we can maybe do something about them and work with them because they're obvious to us. But there's subtler things. And so if you don't have addictions, the subtler things are the beliefs that are keeping me in program. I believe what was taught to me at the church. Okay, now I'm not poo-pooing you, whatever religion you have here, but religion is man-made. I am talking about pure divine source creator spirituality that has absolutely nothing to do with religion. Now, could religion lead us to the path of that? Sure. Is it spiritual? Sure, just like poo is spiritual. Just like addiction is spiritual. It's all spiritual. But is religion mean spirituality? Not really. It's spiritual, but is it spirituality? No. Spirituality is one source creator. And so what does religion say? My God is the real God, your God is fake. That's division. That's not one creator. Allah, source, God, whatever, divine, all these words that we use. My God, and then your God. Well, no. So we have some sort of religious thing here. And if it's not religious, it's some sort of program belief, some sort of dogma, something that was taught to us. And I do feel for some of you guys, it was bred into us at an early state. And so if we can't see it, we can't undo it. And now we might still be tied to it saying, but I don't want to undo it because I still believe it to be accurate, or it's a part of my tradition or my belief and I want to hang on to it. You're able to hang on to whatever you want. But that, my friend, is an ego. I'm identified with my religion. I'm identifying with my tradition. I'm identifying with the knowledge I have. I am one with it. So if you attack it, you attack me. That's my identity now. I am the Christian. I am the this. I am the belief I have. No, you're not. It's just a belief that you want to hang on to. But if you're so tied to it, you start to believe you are it. You cannot change and transform and get closer to the divine, because the veil is now driven from this distortion. And so I'm going to wander here in the eyes of the Christian, not to pick on that at all. I believe in Jesus Christ. Okay. Whatever this thing is, but I'm not identified. I don't say, well, I'm Christian, and therefore if you're a Muslim here, like you're going to hell. No. Okay. And I'm not saying you're saying this. I'm saying there's this very extreme here, but this is subtle, and it's so subtle we don't even see it. It's like if we never questioned this Big Bang and we were taught, okay, the universe started with the Big Bang. Okay, I was taught that. Now, everything I'm going to build upon this theory of my decisions and how I live my life is built on what someone just told me about this. But what if all of a sudden science is like, whoa, and they already said that the Big Bang is nothing. The energy cannot die. It never had a birth. And so if science all of a sudden says, well, we were wrong about the Big Bang, sorry about that. It's like, whoa, all the other science that was based upon it now needs to be in question. Okay, if we believe in gravity because we were told and it was just a theory, as it is, just a theory. And then it's like, well, now we piggyback on that. And everything is like based on that gravity theory. Well, no, it's just a theory. It's just a theory. Do not attach to anything anyone has told you. And not because you're saying they're wrong or they're bad, or it might not be in line with a great truth, but you don't know for sure is the first step. Because what this is going to do, it's going to leave a little crack. And when you leave a little crack, which religious people hate because they're like, no, this is why they want to indoctrinate you with belief. Do not open that little crack. And this is where you carry heavy shame when you're in religious dogma. Because it's like, no, I can't. I got to have the faith that I have here. It's like, yes, but how is this shifted in a way where true love is instilling a fear? If you open the crack, you're condemned. No, because God is love. God is not going to instill you with fear and shame. Who's going to do that? Hierophants. Big religious people who want to overpower you and say, come to me and I'll give you the religious freedom and whatever you need and free your soul. It's like, no, you don't need anyone to free your soul. You just need to connect to the divine. You're a divine being here. And it's not man-made. It's not handed to you if you do this or do that, if you're good or if you're bad, or if you believe or if you don't believe, And this is a big one because it's like, I'm going into the religion thing, okay? If you don't like it, then it's not your reading, not your pile. See you later. It's like, if we are outsourcing our power to an external deity, it might give us a sense of devotion, which is great. Devotion's great, okay? But we got to understand that the divine creator is within us. It's not an external person who's going to save you or who already saved you or who's alleviated you from all of your pain and your suffering, and therefore it gives you free reign to do whatever it is that you can do, like whatever you want to do. No. This is saying the divine creator is within you. And when you understand this, you do not need any other belief, and you will spot and see the dogma for what it is. the truth for what it is, because something will vibrate and feel right, and the other is oppressing and fearful and shameful, or makes you feel restricted. So Spirit is saying, is it making you feel restricted? Does it make you feel smaller, limited, tiered, subjected to a hierarchy? This is bad, this is good, polarity? Or is it liberating and freeing and feel like love and truth? Do not read occult. Do not read tarot cards. That's the devil, Is it? Or are we just trying to keep people poisoned and confused and not know their true divinity, because their true power of manifestation to be able to stand up against inequalities and to see the great truth of our power? And our great truth of power here is that we are one with that of the Creator. We are the Creator expressing itself in the universe. There is no man that could cap that or put some caveat on it or some other belief on it or twist it, no matter how much they want to do it. No matter if there were enlightened beings that walk the earth. Yeah, so are you. Jesus said, you will do greater things than I. And so there's so much distortion, in biblical passages here that could be misconstrued in 10 ways from Sunday. And they'll be thrown at you to keep you in shame and guilt. Why you must believe it this way. Why you must believe that passage meant this. No, if you really, really read the Bible and understand behind it, you'll find the truths. And that all religious doctrine kind of have the same sort of thread, different people, different characters, but the same sort of underlying thing that's going on there. And this is why Jesus spoke in parables. And all of this beautiful information that is secretly sort of held in high regard is kept from the hands of those who try to take things literal, because they will turn it and twist it. And so unless you're ready for the information to be seen to you and understood in a deeper state of consciousness here, Christ is within you. The kingdom is within you. It is at hand right here, right now, not when you die. The Father's within Jesus Christ. The Father's within you. The path that is narrow. What's the path that is narrow? Not the indoctrination, not all of this stuff that's going on in the Matrix world right now. All of this stuff. Everyone's on this train, Who's on the train of love and truth? No. How dare you say you're in the path of truth and go against Jesus, go against the church, go against, no. You're a heretic, No, I'm not. Why can we not question? The truth never fears being questioned. The truth cannot be challenged. If there is truth here, it will stand the test of time. It does not bend to questions. It will not falter when I ask questions. But the illusion, it fears being seen and revealed for what it is. And so we believe in something here because it was told to us, and maybe we didn't even question it, and that's fine, and we're willing to just change it, or we're still really hanging on to it, and then our ego is going to feel challenged by this reading, We're going to feel threatened. It's like my identity is now getting threatened. My sense of self is getting threatened, and I say, good, this is what you need. Next step for the ego, wake up, shake up. We cannot be attached to anything that we're saying is a part of our identity, period. I don't care if it's right or wrong, even attaching to a story here. No, the tarot, no, don't attach to anything. You're just the present moment. You're an extension of the divine. That's just like having an experience, whatever that experience is in the present moment. That's it. That's the grand truth of it all. Okay, reading tarot doesn't make you more spiritual. Saying more mantras doesn't make you more spiritual. Having the Bible, knowing it front to back, quoting scripture, none of that makes you more spiritual at all. In fact, that's just a whole bunch of dogma. The only thing that's going to connect you to the divine is truth and love, which is one and the same. And if your veil is all foggy with all that other stuff, you have a room full of crystals, a whole bunch of books in regards to spirituality. I know every single spiritual concept there is known to man. No, you're just chained to ideology. You're just trying to use knowledge so that you can gain some sort of spiritual insight. No. And so we need to shed all of that stuff, all of it. And the scariest one is when we don't know that we even hold it, because we're just acting out of that program. That belief was given to me, and I just assumed the Big Bang happened, and now everything is just around that, And then the big ones, like I said, are the addictions and the things. So I don't know where you fall in here, but the veil is thick here, bro. And we cannot see your divine nature. And if we can't see our divine nature, we can't see that of the divine, because it's one and the same. And so your next step is removing this veil. And so to remove the veil is just to shine the light of awareness. Shine the light. You're being guided to do this. And so you're here for a reason. Okay? And we might be struggling with this. And so what you resist is going to persist. What you push back with force, it's going to meet you with equal measure of force. So surrender means I let go. And the ego hates that, This belief is not something that I'm connecting to as my identity. Ooh, that feels uncomfortable. And so this process is all what I'm not. And what comes through is beautiful light of what you are. And you don't need to seek what you are. You don't need to go find it, attach to it, understand it in different ways. It makes itself appear to you. It just comes. The light just shows up. But the light only comes through when we get rid of the veil or the curtain. So we must move this curtain out of the way so the light could come in. The light's going to come in. The light is there, guaranteed. There's a light outside. It's always there. It's been there. It has been there. It is there. It's there. Our job is to remove the curtain, the veil. It's distorting. And we could keep those curtains closed for the rest of our life if we don't even know we have curtains here. We didn't even realize we had a curtain. We might have thought, well, the curtain is just, me being kind, me getting healthy, me. It's like, yeah, it's your body vessel for sure, your health for sure. Okay, mind health, physical health, emotional health, and spiritual health. And so there's programming happening here. There's beliefs happening here. There's man-made hand-me-downs of things here. And it's all getting in the way of your spiritual journey. This is where you're stuck, person, whoever I'm reading for. This is really where you're stuck. And Spirit's saying, heal this, release this. Accept that when you do release this, then you will be shown, but you must transmute the energy by shining the light of awareness. And whatever challenge comes through as a result of this, because there will be pushback from the ego, there will be uncomfortableness. Hang in there, allow it to be what it is. It will eventually get transmuted, and the light will start to come in, and the beautiful sunny day will start to show up. And the abundance will start to show up. And now we're choosing the path of love, because guess what? We chose to listen to love and the divine rather than the dogma and saying, no, if I even question my faith, that's a crack. Well, that's fear. That's fear. That's not strength. I'm going to stick to this belief no matter what. No, that's fear, because I might lose my identity. They beat it into me, beat me into submission to believe in what I believe. And it doesn't mean that by the time you connect to that all of a sudden this other thing was not real. It could be, but you might see it differently. You got to get there of your own accord, not out of fear. And that's what I'm trying to tell you. Once you choose love, all the truth will be revealed to you. If this is the highest truth, it will be revealed, because everything that is true cannot be threatened. Anything true cannot be threatened. It will stand the test of time. And any illusion falls away. And so we know when we can't question something, hell of fear. When we believe that doing anything other than what we were told or what we have been doing is a threat or feels uncomfortable, then it's restricting. Well, then it's not in truth. It's in an illusion here, because the truth will never make you feel that way. The truth is always liberating. Okay, it doesn't mean that there isn't pain with it, because yeah, the ego's not going to like this, but it feels freeing, doesn't it? It feels liberating. It feels like, wow, Because if I get there to that truth, I'm going to see exactly where all those lies were, or what I was hanging on to, or those identities that actually weren't even true, But I was restricted, and I was sort of forced by my own ego, by my own sort of program. And then that's what I was running with in the veiled room forevermore here, until someone said, hey, peel that curtain, question that thing. And then you will forever be protecting your energy and knowing, hey, what am I buying? And we vet every single piece of thing now, even Linda's readings. Vet it, vet it, vet it, vet it. What is this person saying? So be careful even what you listen to at night, What sort of indoctrination is happening? What sort of videos am I watching? What sort of information is coming to me? Everyone's going to have a mouthpiece here. If it's not in the highest truth, love, and light, it's not from the creator. It's from somewhere else removed. Now, everything is obviously stemmed from the creator for sure, but it's distorted and removed. I want to go as close to the source as I can. I want to go close to truth and love. Okay, truth and love on one end of the spectrum. What's on the opposite end? Fear, guilt, shame, restriction. And the only people who want you in fear, guilt, restriction are people who want to be in power, or the ego in which it's going to play that game with you. And it's going to dress it up and disguise it as not fear. I am doing the duty thing. I am doing the thing that I was always taught in a way. So I must be the hero, or I must be very good, because I'm trained good. It's like, no, doing what you're told is actually not a sign of strength here. It's not a sign of courage and strength. It's just being submitted to that in which we were told to do. So, beautiful angel, what's your next step? Your next step is to be led by the guidance of your dreams, your psychic knowings inside of you that's telling you something makes me feel restricted, or I feel blocked or stuck here, which is why you're at this reading. I want to follow the truth. I'm curious. That's it. I'm just curious here. And if anyone is threatened by this, the church, the people, if they're threatened, then they're part of the people you must protect yourself from, because they're trying to oppress you, suppress you. If my child wants to go and explore where there's truth, or be open to this, I'm not going to say, no, stay stuck, stay stagnant, And if I didn't, then I would instill fear in him. No, if you go over there, there's monsters. Then my child won't go over there. I assure you, there's no monsters over there on the other side. That's just to beat you into a submission, a fear tactic. There is no monsters with love. There's just divine light and truth. Okay, like ultimate love and in truth. That's it. That's where you're being guided to. You have been guided here for a while. I feel you're stuck. Okay, beautiful angel. And this isn't to hang on to an ego story of, and now I feel bad, or I feel ashamed, or I feel guilty that I bought into it, or that, no, not at all. We all buy that story. We all drank that Kool-Aid. We all thought there was gravity and Big Bang and the earth is round and all of the things, Who knows? Nobody knows anything, At the end of the day, there's only one truth of the divine creator. Do not attach to any story. We've been lied to. We're being poisoned. You're being awakened. Okay, transmute any energy here by saying, I just want to be curious to the truth. Everything else will burn away. Illusion, falsities, and what remains is the truth. It will stand the test of time. So if there's anything that should remain, it will remain. Do not worry. But I'll tell you one thing. When we're in the present moment, there is nothing of the past that remains. Why? The past is just an experience that has come and is gone. There's nothing to attach to. Okay, beautiful angel, this is your reading. I hope this helped you, and I will see you at the next one. Bye-bye.